Hey, habit thrivers. If you're ready to rock your next chapter, this is your place. It's time to live your most fit, fearless, and fabulous life. I believe that our daily habits and routines set the foundation for achieving our dream lives and help us find more passion and clarity with less doubt and uncertainty. So let's get cozy. Grab your planner and your favorite beverage and come along with me on this journey of reclaiming your passions and finding new ones along the way. How has April been treating you so far? Well, I am guessing not great if you are anywhere in certain parts of Canada and the US, as you just got hit with an awful ice storm, and at the time of this recording, more is coming. Now, I have to say, I am very blessed right now in terms of still being away in the Caribbean, with the only weather issue I'm dealing with being lots of wind, and I'm going to say lots and lots of wind, but I'm certainly not going to complain about that. So, welcome to St. Martin and welcome to the Habit Thrive podcast, a podcast for women in their me now years. Hi, I'm Lori, your host, and each week we come together to create habits, routines, and rituals to regain our power and our awesomeness so we can live our best chapters yet. In today's episode, we're talking about navigating April. Truly a messy, soon to be, I'm going to say hopefully, muddy middle month. It is living up to its name right now, though, where you can't get any more in between than rain, then snow, and then freezing rain. April showers bring May flowers, but the April showers are struggling along with any hope of tulips and daffodils. Now, this is not new for April, but in some years it is more severe than others. This year is a severe one. And truly, right now, it's probably quite challenging to find the energy to deal with all of these weather blows, as we've just quite literally blown through the shifting energy of March. This past March, I'm going to say one of the most challenging Marches in a very long time, weather-wise, astrologically, politically, just about everywhere and everything that could arise and shift did in the month of March. So we're going to take the entire month of April to navigate this messy, muddy middle. We deserve it, having come through March, and we're going to come out on the other side in May. So stick with me, everyone. We're going to do this together because truly we've got this. So let's dig in. This is the season of almost there, almost blooming, almost ready. And maybe you feel it in your body too. Heavier in the mornings, not very motivated. You have a little joy bubbling up, but there's also some resistance. There's longing for the sunshine the next day. And so this roller coaster, this push, this pull, this is what being in this messy middle is all about. From an Ayurvedic perspective, April sits firmly in Kapha season, the season of earth and water. So Kapha is cool, moist, heavy, and stable. It governs structure, immunity, and sweetness. And while it brings steadiness, when it builds up too much, it can also make us feel stuck, sluggish, foggy, resistant to change. And that's for everyone. So I'm a Vata, I have some Pitta, but I'm going to feel the effects in the spring. And for those of you who have done the questionnaires, and again, in the show notes, have fun with that season to season. If one of your highest numbers is Kapha, you're going to be feeling this even more. Spring is nature's detox. We have the snow melting, we have the snow piling up, we have the rains, the ground is thawing, and our bodies are trying to thaw too. So if you are waking up a little slower, noticing also that you're having this push and pull between craving lighter foods right now as you're moving into the spring, but still looking for those comfort foods as we have the heaviness, we still have the cold, we still have the snow. So you have that push and pull. Having that connection again to your mindset where you're wanting to clear space in your mind, but it feels heavy. So this going forward, this coming back, you are actually perfectly aligned with what's going on in nature. So let's exhale and just let that settle in for a moment. You are perfectly aligned with what is supposed to be happening, although it's a little bit more intense, I'm going to say this year, but perfectly aligned with what is supposed to be happening. So let's talk about how to work with this season, though, not against it. Perhaps starting with a little mindset ritual this week, right away. So here we are, if you're listening to me on Saturday, right? Pen and journal out. So playing with this mindset ritual to embrace the in-between. Take a moment each morning this week to sit with your journal and write. Nature is exactly where it is supposed to be right now. And I am exactly where I need to be. I trust the unfolding. Okay, so again, I'm going to repeat that. Feel free to use your own words. Play with this a little bit so that it speaks to you. Nature is exactly where it is supposed to be right now. And I am exactly where I need to be. I trust the unfolding. So it's simple, but it speaks to that deep part of us that wants to rush or to push. And it invites in rest and a feeling of receiving instead. Understanding and accepting that we are in this messy middle. So that's a mindset ritual. Now you might again be feeling like you want to lighten up physically, mentally again, emotionally, and food is medicine. So when you start to lighten up from a food perspective, it affects every part of your body. Now's the time to gently shift away from heavy, comforting winter foods, even though again it's quite a transition depending on the weather. So maybe moving from the roasted veggies, starting to shift to salads. And for those of you that love your salads, again, you're excited in the spring season to be inviting those salads back in. The heavy cream-based soups and stews now are switching to cleansing broths. And I love that switch over into the broths in the spring, especially when I make the connection between sinus congestion in my body, trying to clear the winter sludge, and really using the broths more, the vegetable broths and the bone broths, and just really making that connection. It actually feels very soothing and feels very supporting. And we're going to talk about that a little bit actually in next week's episode as well, as we are clearing the winter sludge. So that's one way. So looking at the foods that you are surrounding yourself with and how you're preparing your food. Starting your day with warm lemon water and fresh ginger. Some of you have been doing this all winter, but this becomes particularly helpful in the spring because lemon in particular helps us come into that cleansing place. And the ginger, just again, some of you love ginger. I might give a little bit of a side note here on ginger. If you're not used to actually having both lemon and ginger, they are extremely powerful. This is why, from an Ayurvedic perspective, and not just Ayurveda, but just in general, that lemon and ginger is suggested coming into, in particular, this detox season. But if you haven't had those in your diet before, just start very, very slowly. Just a few squeezes of lemon and just a little bit of ginger, because they can be quite strong quickly. And if you are sensitive, and I'm going to speak from a Vata perspective again, then your tummy might revolt a little bit. So start slowly with the lemon water and ginger, and also notice if it is something that works for you. So again, we are shifting from the heavy, comforting winter foods more into the lighter foods, and then we are adding in some warm water and ginger in the morning if you haven't already, or at least a glass of water. At least starting with 1 to 2 glasses of water, that is fantastic. If you're not doing that already, to add that in the spring. And then adding more bitter and astringent taste to your meals. So greens such as arugula, if you haven't added turmeric or lentils, again, it's that astringent taste from Ayurveda that starts to move us into the spring cleansing state. And so the 6 tastes of Ayurveda, the sweet, the sour, the salty, the astringent, the pungent, and the bitter, when we are combining those tastes throughout the day, again, they become very medicinal in a very positive way. And they help us, again, transition in the spring season. So these are just a few tips to get you moving into the spring, and we're going to, throughout the month of April, we're going to speak to these. And so we move from our mindset ritual to our food ritual, and now our movement ritual. So in kapha season, the hardest part really is motivation and momentum. But once you move, you're going to absolutely feel the shift. Dance parties still rule in April, as it is still challenging to get outside. The weather's not supporting walking and biking and hiking yet, but it's not good for skiing or snowshoeing either. So here we are right in the messy, muddy middle. So have your playlist queued up for your daily dance parties. Put them on your habit chart in your calendar. Check them off each day. So first thing in the morning, you are bathing your brain. I love that, right? As you increase blood flow throughout your entire body, even 2 to 3 minutes is going to make a difference. A dance party can boost up your mid-afternoon slump. And it can even help you de-stress before you go to bed. Just kind of lighten the load a little bit. So you can choose one time a day to have your dance party. It's interesting when you try 3 dance parties in a day. It seems like a lot, but there is a benefit to each part of your day when you are moving and grooving, especially in April when it's harder to get outside. So embrace. I'm going to say another way to embrace your movement is to embrace your weekly yoga and Pilates online or your live classes, as they are saviors for your mind and body in this messy middle. And recognize that you might require more motivation this month. So use your planner, your calendar, your bestie, whatever works for you to keep you moving, as I promise you, it will help you navigate this month. Now, again, doesn't have to be super intense, just looking at movement. Now, I'm going to move into 2 more areas. One is your home ritual. We're just going to start with this. Just a couple of things to think about. This is the month of clearing. So it's not just clearing the winter sludge out of your body, it's clearing your mind, but it's also clearing space in your house. And it is astounding when you clear some space in one drawer, on one shelf, in one corner, it can have an effect on your mindset. So clean it, wipe it, open a window when we're able to open the windows, let the fresh air in, and even say out loud, as I clear this space, I make room for what's next. We're soon to be adding, if you haven't already, added in some fresh flowers, put a new pillow, a new throw on the couch. It doesn't have to be anything huge. I am actually not a huge spring cleaner. I am more of a November before the holiday season. That's when I go crazy with my cleaning. But I'm doing these gentle, fun, and fresh changes. And so just noticing what your rhythm is around spring cleaning. Now, what's nice about doing this, though, in April is that certainly in Northern Ontario, when May hits, we want to be outside and we want to be in the garden. And so starting to take advantage of the fact that we're in the house already to start small, because again, we're not motivated. So we've got this push and pull. I don't want to do this. I just feel sluggish. And so just really, this is why it becomes so important to start small, pick one drawer, one shelf, one corner, and then celebrate with a dance party. So that was, again, the home ritual. So we did our mindset ritual, we did our food ritual, we did our movement ritual, we did a house ritual. This is the last one that I want to finish with today, and that is our heart ritual. Sometimes in this in-between time, or this in-between space, we have a lot of feelings being stirred up. We have grief and nostalgia and doubt and reviewing decisions that we've made in the past. We are just replaying lots of stuff. Now, I talked about that in March as well, and it bubbles over into April. So really just acknowledging that this is what's going on right now, and it's okay. Just like the earth needs water to soften, right, before it can sprout, we need right now some tenderness for ourselves. We need to embrace this and to really give ourselves some grace right now in the spring. So if you're up for this, to try this evening practice, writing down one thing you're releasing, and then one thing you're calling in. As I always say, certainly in the evening, there are times that you're just going to write something on a piece of paper and you might not even keep it. You might just let it go, right? You might tuck it away, but it might be something that you're putting in your journal as well. So just let it speak to you in the way that it speaks to you. So one thing you're releasing in the month of April, and one thing you're calling in, because we are in this transition time. And so it's a wonderful ritual. And then say to yourself, I am not who I was. I am not yet who I am becoming. The middle place is messy but sacred. I am not who I was. I am not yet who I'm becoming. This middle place is messy, but it's sacred. And just notice how you feel when you hear those words, when you say those words, and let it help you let go into your evening and into sleep. So here we are at the end of this episode and standing in April's doorway with hopefully soon muddy boots and an open heart. So this is truly the time to be gentle, truly the time to soften but not stall. Just like spring, you are in the process of becoming, and so you're allowed to move slow. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to bloom in your own time. And remember, this part I love. The mud is messy, yes, but it is also where the lotus grows. And so thank you so much for joining me this week. And if you would like to keep this party going, to join us in the Women's Wellness community in our private Facebook page, and so the link is in the show notes. Send me a note on Instagram as well to share any of your thoughts. We've been having fun putting the reels from these podcasts on Instagram, so I'd love to hear your comments there as well. And if you haven't had a chance to look at a sneak peek of the Fit, Fearless, and Fabulous Spring and Summer Planner, again, where everything that I'm talking about in the podcast is included. So the opportunity to work with themes and to integrate goals into your themes and to do future me letters and to start to embrace Ayurveda and to play with Ayurvedic tips and techniques. All of those are in this Fit, Fearless, and Fabulous Spring and Summer Planner. All you need to do is click on the link in the show notes, and this will bring you to Member Vault, and you can have a sneak peek there. And then when I'm home next week, I am going to be reaching out a little bit more and sharing a little bit more information. Remember, this is your time, your me now years. Every small habit, every mindful choice, and every act of self-care is a step towards thriving in this chapter of your life. Together, let's take a soft collective inhale, hugging your heart, exhaling, letting love go, letting love flow. And until next time, stay strong, stay vibrant, and keep thriving. If you love this episode, I guarantee you're going to love exploring all the amazing opportunities that await us in reclaiming our awesomeness together. So come on over to my Facebook group, Women's Wellness Community for women wanting to rock their me now years, or let's connect over on Instagram at Habit Guru 365 and make the Habit Guru podcast your healthy new habit.